Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Camille Westmoreland, and today's video I am going to be showing you the ECC-11 strategy. Excuse my video, I'm kind of like in chill mode, but I really wanted to get this video done. So we're going to go ahead and jump in there. So make sure you have a pen and paper readily available so that you can take some notes. But it's really cool because you can actually rewind this video, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to share my screen really quick so we can jump in here. Let's hit share. I'll just share my whole desktop because I'll be moving around. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just jump into the actual strategy itself right now, and then I will go back. So we'll go through the strategy, and then I'll pull up the actual web analyzer so that you can see everything that I'm referencing in the training. So with trading period, whether you're trading the ECC-11 strategy or whatever that looks like, the first thing you definitely want to do every day that you're trading is go to forexfactory.com. It's important to go there because you're able to see what major news is actually happening that day, what pairs or what currencies are going to be affected. And you also get to see if there are banking holidays. So when I go there to see that, I make a note of which currencies to avoid for that day. So like, for example, today, the US dollar and Great Britain pound are on a bank holiday. So I wouldn't trade any pairs that come through the web analyzer with that. And then also, if there is, if it's not a bank holiday, but like a speaker is speaking or something major is happening, it will tell you when that's happening. So for me, if I make note of that news is coming out, I will purposely not trade that pair or that currency, if you will, until after that news has actually happened. And so that's just something that I do. I recommend, even if you don't do it that way, that you at least are aware of what news is happening. And I'm going to go over to Forex Factory and talk about that a little bit more. You want to definitely confirm that your web analyzer settings are correct. Sometimes after you log out, if you had to clear your cookies or your cache and stuff like that, your settings will go back to the default settings. So you want to make sure you have the right settings in place. And then using your compound chart every day, looking at your chart so that you can multiply your money, not just adding to, but having an actual trading strategy and trading plan with that. So if you want access to the trading strategy steps that I'm going to show on the next screen, the compounding chart, and then we also have a Telegram channel where you're able to get the alerts for the web analyzer. Just text ECC11 to 555-888. And you will be able to get access to that. So we'll keep it going. So on the left-hand side is the actual ECC checklist, okay? Let's see something. Maybe if I do that, you can see. Hopefully you can see that. So with the ECC checklist, it's giving you everything that you need in order to implement this strategy. This is a checklist originated by Dr. Kathy Kirkland. Shout out to her for this particular strategy. So many people are seeing major results with the strategy. And so on the left side is her checklist. On the right side is what I actually do. So I implement her checklist, but I actually do a few extra steps. So some people have asked me what I do. So I wanted to give you access to that as well. So it's a couple of things that you want to make sure that you have in place or understand. With the web analyzer, if an alert pops up and the box is red, you're looking for sales. If it pops up and it's green, you're looking for buys. If it's looking for sales, as soon as you pull that chart up, you are looking to see if it's a sale, you're looking to see if the red line is below the blue line. That's your first confirmation of getting ready to enter that trade. If you're looking for a buy, you want to see that the red line is above the blue line, okay? I only trade the 15-minute chart. Dr. Kathy trades the 15-minute chart. You could trade really any time frame that you want to trade, but I've seen a lot of success with the 15-minute chart, and I normally go for 10 pips on that chart. Some people may want to try to trade the 5-minute chart. It's recommended if you're doing the 5 minute to only go for 3 to 5 pips on that chart. It does not matter if the price action is happening above or below the cloud. The cloud just shows you the overall trend of the market at that time. But remember, this is a scalping strategy, so you may be trading with or against the trend in some instances. But the fact that you know that the cloud is moving in one direction, like you may choose that the cloud is moving in the upwards bullish direction, you may want to only trade buys. If it's moving in a downward, you may only want to trade sales. So totally up to you what you decide with regards to that. So let's kind of talk about my trading steps. So as soon as I hear the cha-ching, or I get the telegram alert, if I'm out and about, I click on the blue circle in order to load the chart. Once I actually loaded the chart, I draw a horizontal line where the call that price is. I recommend a bright color. I use yellow. Don't worry, you guys. I'm just going through the steps so we can see it here, and then we're going to talk through an actual example, okay? And then once I draw that line, I confirm where the red line is in conjunction to the blue line based on if it's a buy or sell. So as I mentioned, if the box is green, I'm looking for the red to be above the blue for a buy. If the box is red, I'm looking for the red to be below the blue for a sell. If the line is in proper position based on the call, I then go, I know that it's set up for a buy, but then I go to the lower time frame, 5 minute in my case, since I trade the 15-minute chart. I go to the lower time frame to see if it's lined up properly. So if I go to the lower time frame and the red is above the blue for a buy, just like it is on the 15-minute, I will go ahead and execute the trade. 95% of the time, the 5-minute chart is normally opposite. So what that means is that there is pullback happening, okay? So if I go to the lower time frame and I see that pullback is happening, I won't enter that trade yet. I add it to my watch list, and now I'm waiting for it to line up with the larger time frame. So patience is definitely key with the process. Now, some people may ask the question, can I just go ahead and enter and execute the trade? You absolutely can. Just know that you may experience some pullback or be caught in the pullback, which can increase the drawdown that you may experience. So I like to minimize my pullback as much as possible, which is why I go to the lower time frame to determine my entry. Because of course, the larger time frame is showing you that it's in a buy, but the smaller time frame is saying it's a buy, but it's pulling back for a short period of time before it continues to go up in that buy position. So that's the logic behind using the smaller time frame. Now, that's just what I do. You can, implement this however it works for you. Once the trade is ready for entry, you can go ahead and do a market execution immediately. So if you're doing like me and waiting for it to line up, as soon as you see the line up, you just immediately buy or immediately sell. I know you want to enter your parameters like your stop loss and your take profit and things like that, but at least get in the trade first so that you don't miss the move. Once you're in the trade, you'll go back and modify and add your take profit and add your stop loss to it. So that's literally all that I do. As far as the take profit, I do 10 pips. As far as the stop loss, it's up to you on your own personal risk. It's not really advised to do more than a 1-to-1. If you're looking to gain 10 pips, it's advised not to risk more than 10 pips. But everybody's risk tolerance is different. Some people, like myself, barely ever use stop losses. So it's totally up to you. When I actually wait for the lineup, I've only experienced maybe 10 to 12 pips pullback or drawdown before it went back into the right direction. So that can vary from person to person. So that's literally it with that. So we'll jump over here to my internet. Not my internet, but you know what I'm saying. My let me move this down here. Okay. So basically you have Forex Factory, as I mentioned. So when you go to Forex Factory, make sure that this time right here is in your time zone. If it's not in your time zone, you will click on the time and a new box will come up and you will pick the time zone for you. I'm Central Time Zone, so that's why I have that there. So once you do that, you'll come over here and actually click the filter. I only look at high impact news, which is the red envelope, and the gray envelope, so that you know where there are banking holidays. Some people look at the orange and some people look at the yellow. I personally don't, because I haven't seen major movement happening that affects the market to the point where I don't want to, trade a pair because of it. But it's totally up to you if you decide to look at all of the envelopes, okay? And then, trade accordingly. So, for example, today is Monday, May 27th. So GBP and USD are closed for bank holidays. So what that means for me is if I get any alerts through the web analyzer connected to these pairs, then I'm not going to actually trade those pairs, okay? And it's pretty much that simple once you do that part. Now, after you've done that, I mentioned going to your compounding chart. So here's a compounding chart. If you need more instruction on how to do this, go back to my YouTube channel. I have a video out there explaining this compounding chart. And so the compounding chart is really, really cool because some people want to make, grow their account 10% by the day. You may want to grow it. You can customize everything. You may want to grow it 20% by the day. It's totally up to you. I like to do per trade. So I put trade here because if I can get in 5 trades today, each of my trades, my goal is to make 10% of my account balance on the trade. Now, I just redid my compounding chart because and I recommend doing 50% of whatever your account balance is. So I originally had $500 in my account, and I traded as if our usage chart, as if I had 250 in my account with 8% in the account, and I was going for 10 pips per trade. So when I did this, I followed this here. So as you can see here, I put 8 pip take profit, even though I put 10 pips in, because after the fees and all that good stuff, I want to be able to still secure my total 8 pips. So I may do 10 or 11 pips as my actual take profit, but my strategy is based off of 8 pip profit. Okay. So I did this strategy for about 23 or 24 trades. Well, actually, no, I did 30 trades. Actually did 30 trades on this particular strategy. One of the trades that I entered where news was concerned because I did not follow my rules. So whatever rules you set in place, I always follow your rules. And so I decided to take 2 L's on the trade. I could have stayed in them, but I wanted to minimize my loss. And so took those 2 L's electively, if you will, instead of waiting it out. So now that I've grown my account, I've decided to trade it as if I have $700 in the account. Okay. And so every time that I get an alert from the web analyzer, I literally just follow this down here. So whatever lot they give me, and I only do 1 trade at a time. I'm not over trading. I'm doing 1 trade at a time. Let that trade go in and close and move to the next trade. So that's something that's been effectively working for me. Now you can choose to trade as frequently as you like, however many trades you want to go in an account at a given time. You have the freedom to actually do that. Okay. So that's that. But yeah, you may want to watch the video for a little more detail. So I know that the first trade I'm going to enter is going to be 0.8. So now that we've established that, now let's look at the web analyzer. Okay. So with the web analyzer, the way that it works is a cha-ching will come through. Let me see if I can make it happen. Okay. So when you hear that cha-ching, that means a new alert has come through. I made it cha-ching, so it's not a new alert. So this is actually a trade I just got into, and it's now I'm showing that it's in profit. Okay. So when the cha-ching comes, remember, if it's red, you're looking for a sell. If it's green, you're looking for a buy. And you can see how much time has passed. But even though time has passed, based off of the way that I actually execute these trades, it doesn't mean that you are not in position to still get into that trade. So for example, as I mentioned, as soon as the alert comes through, you recognize it's red, so you're looking for a sell. The next thing you're going to do is click on the blue circle so that the chart actually pops up. Okay. So then when the chart pops up, you can actually you know, see the movement. So the next thing you're going to immediately do is draw your horizontal line. In order to draw your horizontal line, this second icon here for trend line tools, you're going to click the arrow. The fourth icon, hit horizontal line. Click anywhere on the chart. You just want to get the horizontal line on the chart. And once you have the horizontal line on the chart, a menu will pop up for that line. So you click on settings and make sure coordinates is selected. And then you're going to type in the called at price. So if you look over here, you see it's 1.83247. So I'm going to change that to 3247 and hit enter. So now it has the line where it was called at. And so you can see where the market is in conjunction. Now this trade was called an hour and 19 minutes ago. So we're on the 15-minute chart. So that's roughly 6 candles ago, because we're in the midst of a candle. So just so you can see it, I'm going to draw a horizontal line, a vertical line. So that's 1 hour. So it was called roughly here. Okay. And let me make this brighter and thicker. Okay. So the price was called roughly here. So when I saw this trade, I saw that my settings reset. So let me correct the settings of my colors. Hold on one second. And you have to watch that. I mentioned that before. Sometimes this thing will flip. So you always want to make sure your settings are where they're supposed to be. So let me just make the line thicker so you can see this. Okay. And we're going to save as default. Got it. Okay. So when this trade originally came out, I saw that the red was below the blue, which is a sign of a sell. And that was my indicator that I could actually enter a sell in the trade. But then when you go to the 5-minute chart, you see the red was above the blue. So when the red was above the blue, that was a sign for me that it was pullback. So it's like, okay, Camille, look at that trade, but don't actually execute the trade yet. So I literally watched the trade. And then when I saw the crossover beginning to happen, I went ahead and entered a sell on that actual trade. Okay. And so I'm actually in that trade currently as we speak. Let me see. And I trade on my phone, but sometimes I trade on my computer as well. Trying to see if I can show it to you guys. So yeah, so now I'm actually in that trade for my 10 pips. I was trying to pull up MetaTrader 4, but it's not letting me. So as you can see down here at the bottom, I'm actually in that trade currently. It's headed towards my take profit. And now I'm up on profit on that trade. And so once that trade closes, now I'm going to be ready to look at the next trade. And that's literally all that you do. So if you get onto the web analyzer and you don't have a new alert, but you actually want to enter a trade, all I recommend you do is draw the horizontal line at the call at price. And then when you see how much time has passed, draw a vertical line there. So in this case, it was an hour and 21 minutes. So remember, every candle represents 15 minutes on the 15-minute chart. So that's 15, 30, 45, an hour and 15. So that's an hour and 15, but it's an hour and 21. So you just go back another line to get an idea. It's not exact, but we already know that this candle has been moving for like the last 7 minutes. Okay. And so literally that's all you do. And then you go for your 10 pips and then you look for another entry and that's it. So I hope that this video helped you out. And if you have any questions, you could post them in the comments below. I will get a notification and respond to everyone as quickly as I can. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get updates on my upcoming Forex videos and things like that. So thank you all so much for jumping on, and I'll see you soon. Bye.